2:30 a.m. We just left the house. We're awakened this morning about 1:49 a.m. from an earthquake. Probably the strongest and longest we've had so far, right?
Yes, earthquake. It wake me up, so that's why we on the car on the hit the road now because earthquake wake us up.
This morning I woke up dying to kiss you. Your makeup on my pillows making me miss you. I went from your bed to an ex in 4 hours or less. There goes another one I couldn't get right.
Because earthquake wake us up.
Yeah, so we got up about 10 minutes earlier than we thought. We were going to get up at 2, but we got up at 1:49 thanks to Mother Nature. We're on our way to Charlotte to the airport. We've planned out about 2.5 hours at the airport to get through because we haven't flown in a couple years, so I don't know what it's like with paperwork and everything we got, because we got a lot of paperwork we got to show them to verify that we got everything we need to go. Anyhow, we got about an hour and a half drive and a couple hours at the airport, and then we're on our way to Chicago O'Hare. Once we get to Chicago, then we got about 3-hour layover there, and then we jump the plane to Tokyo.
Okay, see you Tokyo.
No, we'll probably jump on the plane again. We'll probably do a video on the plane, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right. See you in a little bit.
See you in a little bit.
Long term 2 open. $10 a day now.
Cheers. $10 now. It's way more than I
Yeah, the problem is
expect.
they don't have any more. Oh, you're videoing? Yeah, they don't have as many cars parking, probably because nobody traveled for the last 2 years, so they're trying to make up for it.
Before $7 and I up number like $8.
That's what I was.
When we estimate last time.
That's what I was thinking we did.
Take the next left, then turn right.
Guess we just use any one of these. These weren't here before, were they? No, there had to be something. Wow, this thing's slow.
We get the parking lot.
Yeah, and then we pay when we leave. Put
And
that
then
right up
the
here.
gate is open. $10.
Look for a parking spot real close. This one right here. How about that one?
Good, yeah. Where you go? I'll go the other side.
Yeah. If we see one here, we'll grab it. I don't see one over there. Oh, right here. Statue of Liberty is probably right below us somewhere, or somewhere right over there. I think it's right below us. We just arrived in New York City. They changed our flights this morning. Our flight to Chicago got canceled, so we got rescheduled.
It is a pleasure to
We're in
welcome
New
you
York
to
City.
Newark. The current time is 8:40. Okay, everybody, so we made it to Bangkok. Yesterday was probably
one of the worst travel days I've experienced in all my years of traveling.
What happened?
Well, it wasn't any one particular thing, but it was just a continuous, ongoing, multiple problems throughout the entire trip. It ended up taking us 38 hours from our house to this room in Bangkok. But here's kind of the rundown on it. We originally booked flights from Charlotte to Chicago, Chicago to Tokyo, Tokyo to Bangkok, and that was through from All Nippon Airways, which is ANA, is what their logo is. But we booked those flights. We left the house at 2:30 a.m. ish. Got up at 2 a.m.
Yes.
Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm. Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. Took off for Charlotte, got to Charlotte, got up there, and our flight to Chicago was canceled. Now, we had taken our COVID tests, and those COVID tests can't be more than 72 hours old when you get on the airplane, your first flight. They canceled our flight, so we kind of went into panic mode, or I did a little bit, because our COVID tests are going to be old if we don't get on a flight. But anyhow, we were able to talk to United and get rerouted from Charlotte to New York. That's New York, not New York, New York, which is part of New York City for those of you that don't know. But anyhow, we went into New York and then went to Tokyo and then ended up on the same flight from Tokyo to here. So that took probably an hour in Charlotte to get that whole mess straightened out there and get the baggage switched over and everything. So then we got on a flight to Newark. We got to Newark, and they claimed because of COVID they didn't have enough staff, and we couldn't get pulled up to the terminal because they didn't have anybody to drive the little tug. So we sat there on the tarmac for 1 hour waiting to just get pulled up to the terminal. So that was snafu number 2. We finally got into Newark and got through there. We were getting ready to get back on the airplane, and I got into a fairly heated argument with one of the United representatives because now he's looking at our COVID test saying it's expiring in 10 minutes.
Expire in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes. You're lucky. And I kind of said, no, I'm not lucky. You guys already verified it 3 times because we pre-verified it through an app the day before we left. I did. I sent it to United and they approved it. Then they checked it when we checked our baggage, and then they checked it again before we got on the flight in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So this guy was telling me I was lucky, and I kind of got pissed off at him because I wasn't in a very good mood. And we had a pretty heated argument right there in the terminal.
It's supposed to be good at the first
Yeah.
board, right?
Yes, for some reason he thought that was our first flight of the day, but it wasn't. We'd already left hours earlier in Charlotte. But
Look at him. He said you're lucky. Actually, he know nothing.
yeah, and I told him that. I said, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. You have no idea what you're saying. But anyhow, we finally get on the plane there. There was another 15, 20-minute delay getting somebody to drive the tug to push us away from the terminal. So we took off for Newark. No, we were in Newark. We left Newark, right, for Tokyo. The flight coming over was pretty good, pretty smooth. There was a couple times we had some turbulence, not a big deal. So we go into Tokyo. It was snowing in Tokyo. We get into Tokyo, and we didn't have our Bangkok boarding pass yet. And they told us that ahead of time in Charlotte that we'd have to go to ANA or Nippon Airways in Tokyo to get our boarding pass. So we went to the counter there in Tokyo, and there was no flight.
What happened?
Yeah, they couldn't find us. We weren't on the flight.
You didn't have us in the flight.
Nothing.
Oh my God.
So here we are in Tokyo, and it was probably 6:30, 7 o'clock their time at night by then. So it took us over an hour to get that figured out. What had happened when United rerouted us, they must have deleted our entire route. And when they put us back in, they put us to Tokyo, but didn't put the Bangkok leg back in because we were supposed to be on the same flight. But the lady at United in Charlotte didn't include that in her ticket route or something. I don't know, but she screwed it up. And I had proof on my computer, my laptop, I had it with us. I had proof on my laptop that I had paid for a complete trip to Bangkok and back. And I showed that to ANA. They were really helpful, but it just took them a long time to get it figured out.
Yeah.
So that was another hour there. But luckily, we had booked 3-hour layovers by design in both Chicago and Tokyo, because I was expecting some unexpected, because we hadn't flown in almost 2.5 years.
Lucky in the early morning that we be there like more than 2 hours, right? So
Yeah.
we have time.
So we got our tickets to Bangkok, finally.
Finally.
Can breathe. Now we just got to get on the plane and get out of there. We got on the plane, well, like I said, it was snowing in Tokyo when we arrived. So as we're walking out to the plane, we're walking down the, what's that thing, jetway? Yeah, the jetway. And wasn't a lot of people around because the flights weren't very full. I should have mentioned that too. And I'll show a couple clips or photographs of the flights right here. But as you can see, there's not hardly anybody on these flights, maybe a third full. The flight from Tokyo to Bangkok was the fullest one, and that was probably only half full. And I didn't get a picture of that, I don't think. But anyhow, so as we're walking down the jetway, there was nobody really around us, so we stopped and looked out the window, and you could see 1.5 to 2 inches of snow over the entire airplane. So we got on the airplane, everybody got seated, we got ready to go, and they come on and said, okay, we got to wait to get de-iced, which I expected, because I lived up north, I know how the de-icing works. So we sat there for 2.5 hours in the airplane at the terminal waiting to get de-iced.
So what time we board and what time they take off?
Our plane boarded at,
6 o'clock?
no, we were supposed to take off at 6:40. I think it boarded at like 6:10.
Yeah.
At 6:10 it boarded, and it was supposed to take off at 6:40.
And I
It was
sleep.
9 o'clock before we left, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I sleep. I wake up 8 o'clock. We not.
Hadn't even left
Yeah.
the terminal. She slept for
I said I
like
was
an
up.
hour at the terminal, and she woke up and we're like, we're still
was
here.
shocked. I missed when they take off. I was like, we already boom, boom, boom on the air, but we've not take off yet. Still on the ground.
2.5 hours we sat there waiting to get de-iced. I don't know what the problem was. One of the problems was the guy took over an hour just to de-ice the plane, and I don't know why, because like I said, I lived up north. I know what it takes to de-ice a plane, or how long it normally takes. But that guy was really, really slow. But like I was talking to the guy next to me, I was like, I'd rather have him take his time and get it right than to rush it and have us go down, because I know somebody that happened to. But anyhow, so 2.5 hours there. So we left Tokyo way, way late. We were supposed to arrive here at, I think it was 12:01 a.m. We ended up arriving here at what, 2 a.m.?
2 a.m. touched.
We
landing.
touched down at 2 a.m. So
And passed through immigration.
yeah, so we had to go through like a
The,
7 or 8 step process to get into Thailand because of COVID. Checking paperwork and checking temperatures and passports and just
And,
all kinds of stuff. It was pretty crazy. I can't imagine that we were the only flight there, and it took us, what did I say, 45 minutes to get through there.
45 minutes to get through the control disease process and also immigration together about 1 hour.
Yeah, and they never did anything at customs. Customs wasn't even there. We just walked right in.
Yeah.
But it took 45 minutes at whatever, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't imagine what it'd be like during the day over there. It's got to be just way backed up. But anyhow, we got through there in about 45 minutes, and it was another, what, hour and a half drive here?
Yeah, we start driving at 3 o'clock, including stop to the
Hospital.
Pekovis hospital.
So originally we were told that we would come here to the hotel. They would wake us up this morning, take us somewhere, get our arrival COVID test. But surprise to us, at whatever, 4 o'clock this morning, they drove us right straight to the hospital.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Did our COVID tests, well, yeah, like she said, that's a good thing because now it's out of the way. We don't have to go do it today. Plus, it's going to be the first thing in the lab this morning, hopefully.
So finally we arrived here exactly at 4 o'clock.
So 4 a.m. we finally got to our room, and our room or got the hotel,
Hotel room, yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
The check-in was pretty uneventful, pretty quick here because again, there's nobody around at 4 a.m.
So, since the landing and arrived at the room, take 2 hours, but not bad time.
I feel like my hair's flying around.
The process at the airport about the disease control is not that complicated. So just fill out the pink form like this. That's it.
So they got a bunch of blue chairs, plastic chairs set up right in the main walkway thing down through the middle of the airport. And everybody from the flight has to go sit on those chairs that are 2 rows wide and 6 feet apart and fill out the paperwork. And when you get that, you take that, your QR code, and negative test, was
and
it?
the COVID test, yeah. Fill out the pink form and the COVID test and the QR code. That's it.
Yes.
Thai part. That's
And-
what they verify.
And where did we take that?
Where?
Yeah, what was that first station?
First station at the
Is that the health?
DC control.
Yes.
Yes.
So you go through it, which is not a normal station at the airport, but they had a bunch of temporary podiums set up there and had a bunch of people there. So you just take your paperwork up there, they verify everything, and did they stamp that? Yeah, they actually gave us a stamp of approval. I don't know if you can see that stamp of approval and signed off on it. And from there we went to immigration, right?
Yeah.
And then we had a weird immigration officer. She was kind of.
Immigration also wanna see this too.
So they went back. The lady at immigration rechecked everything, and she was like,
Everything again.
she was creating some own problems for herself. But anyhow, that was the worst part, was getting past her. But it took a couple of minutes to get through there, but it wasn't too bad. And then after that, the baggage was it, right? After immigration.
Yeah, yeah. And then go
Like I
to
said, there was
get your bag.
nobody at customs. We just walked right through customs and went to the bags. And took a few minutes to get the bags. We got the bags, headed out. And when you rent this, or excuse, when you reserve these quarantine rooms, it includes ground transportation from the airport direct to the hotel. And we thought it was going to be some special ambulance with lights and sirens and disease people here, don't touch, and zoom us right to our room and lock us up. Hell, they walked us out front, said, this van here. It was just a regular transport van. They just threw us in there and sent us down the road, and that guy ended up taking us to the hospital to get our test and then here. But it wasn't nothing special.
That special normally have a lot people come to pick up you. Pick up the
At the airport?
pick up the
Well,
passenger. Now they not allow your relative or your friend somebody to get you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That all that transport is from the hotel.
Oh, you mean if you're well, yeah, because nobody can come into the country right now without going through the testing, without going through some kind of testing, right? No
Every-
one.
Every same like us.
Everybody. Even
Yeah.
Thai nationals, citizens.
Yeah. Though normally we have friends, we have
Yeah.
family come to pick.
Yeah, I
the
never thought about
passenger.
that, but you're right. They wouldn't be able to,
Mhm.
because everybody's got to go through this quarantine.
Mm.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. So anyhow, it was a long ass, adventurous, frustrating. And I told Sompit on the way to the airport Wednesday morning, I said, I'm gonna plan on having problems and delays just because we haven't traveled for so long, but I had no idea it was gonna be what it was, what it turned out to be.
Yeah, every problem solved. It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
It just a lot of delays, and I got frustrated with that one jackhole that tried to tell me I couldn't get on the plane. The worst part about that guy is he had just looked at her paperwork, because I gave him her paperwork, and we all tested at the same time, right? We've seen that video, but and if you haven't, I'll put it up here. But he looked at her paperwork. Her paperwork's fine. When he got to mine, then he started being like a jerk about it, and that's when I got not happy with him. But anyhow, we got on the plane, got through it all. Now we're just sitting here in the hotel room in quarantine, waiting for our results. And once we get that, then we're going to move to a different hotel.
So we take a test like 3:30, 3:45 last night, and we come at the front desk. They told us that the result gonna come at 8 p.m., which is pretty long, but we'll see, maybe faster than he told.
Yeah, so anyhow, we'll, I don't know, we'll just have to get back to everybody and let you know how the rest of the testing goes. We do have to do another test on day 5 or 6, and we got to schedule that. Well, last we knew we have to schedule that before we leave here today. We have to let these people know where we're going to be on the 5th or 6th day so we can get that next test scheduled today, which if you watch the previous videos, you know we're supposed to go to Kolipe Island on Tuesday,
Supposed to go Tuesday, yeah, at the first plan.
but Tuesday is day 5 in the country, so we're going to have to probably push Kolipe back one day, do our test here. Once that clears, then head to Kolipe for a few days. That's our plan right now, but everything's got to be fluid because we really don't know yet. Hell, we could test positive today, and if that happens, we think we have to go into a hospital quarantine for 14 days.
We'll see. I have the feeling like we get through a lot of problems, and this is the last obstacle we waiting, and I hope we will good. Like,
And I think we should. I mean, we wore masks. Oh my God, mask we put a mask on at like 4 a.m. in Charlotte.
we open when we eat.
You take it, literally just pull it down, take a bite, put it back up. Pull it down, take a drink, put it back up. Did that all the way through the process for that 38 hours. We got here and took it off, and it felt like my face fell off. I felt like my nose fell off my face because I was so used to wearing it. I was missing something. I'm just kidding. It sucked.
Big.
But we're going to have to be really ultra careful the next 5 days, 4 days, whatever it is,
Yeah.
till we get that next
Careful
test
for
passed.
us and responsibility for the people.
So anyhow, anything else?
Anyhow, make it touchdown on the Thailand ground.
She's
That's
really
the
happy.
most happy, appreciate.
She's all excited to see her family, and I don't blame her. I mean, she hasn't seen your mom's in what, almost 3 years
Almost 3 years, yeah.
since she's seen her mother, and she was sick for a while last year. We were really worried about it, but she's recovered, and hell, she was out walking around that new property the other day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Her niece took her over there and shot a video with her walking around the new property. So excited to go see them, but again, our plans are fluid, so we'll just have to play it by ear. I'm not one to push subscribing and anything too much, but if you kind of want to follow our journey over the next month while we're here in Thailand, there's a button right down there. Just click it, or the little icon of us down in the corner here. So yeah, hope you all come back and watch us and join us for this adventure for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. It's Sompit and
Next
Kenny.
time.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Okay, we just finished recording that other one. I sat down to start editing it because we thought we had a few hours, but we just got a phone call.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay, we just got a phone call, and what's the news?
The news is he said negative.
Times
Both
2?
of us?
All right.
Yes.
So we're free to travel for the next 5 days anyhow, right?
What time now? 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock.
Now 11 o'clock.
How is Sompit feeling now?
Feeling like we can wander around, we can go around. We can go feeling free. Let's say feeling free. Understand?
Okay, so we got to book another hotel for tonight because this one's way too high price because of the quarantine prices. So
I don't care about the price. I care about the place.
we need to get over a different part of town, basically, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna book another hotel here right now, and we'll get. Oh, probably. I don't know what we're gonna do.
This morning I woke